We're at the greatest of all time, a man who has no history in this building, Coach Nick Saban.
Yeah, Coach!
Thank you, man. Thank you.
How you doing, Coach? Okay, Coach, so the big question is, obviously there's a lot of football fans where I live and where AJ lives that go, game day should be at the Big Ten Championship this year because Ohio State and Indiana is about to be insane. Obviously, could have definitely done that. In our eyes, would have been spectacular. But I think what people don't understand whenever they come down here is there is an aura around the SEC Championship. It's like every year it does feel like it is the Super Bowl of the South. And what do you kind of think about whenever you get down here, just from your own personal experiences?
Well, I think having played in this game a few times, it's one of the best competitive venues that I've ever been a part of because the passion that people have in this conference and the support that this game has had, Atlanta's sort of a great place to have it. So this building is a great place to play it. And there's usually two really good, highly ranked teams playing in the game. So there is a lot of history to it. And I don't want to minimize the Big Ten championship because obviously I coach in that league and that was, you know, really significant if you could win the Big Ten. And to have the #1 and #2 teams playing for the Big Ten championship, I think that's the only time two undefeated teams, 1 and 2, have ever played in that game. That's pretty significant too. So,
got great ball.
You know,
I think championship weekend's going to live up to the hype.
No doubt.
Tough decision for game day every week, you would hope. And the fact that we're a part of a show that people want us to be at their game is an honor. Like that is, you don't just fall to that point. Obviously, what game day has done for all these years has made it a special treat every time we go anywhere. But obviously, living in Indianapolis, would have loved to be. They would have shut the city down. But this place does shut down for the SEC. Let's talk about these two teams. Obviously, you know Alabama very well. You're in the building still. You're around Kalen DeBoer and the squad that they have. Feels like what they've become through Ty Simpson's arm is a team that could certainly go on a run during the playoff. This Georgia team, though, since losing, to Alabama, have become one of the dominant teams in all of football. Obviously, people talk about Indiana and Ohio State. We just had Pete Bavacqua, the athletic director at Notre Dame, and he said outside of them, who's really been as hot as Notre Dame has? I guess Georgia would be the team that you could potentially say that. What are your thoughts on the two teams and how they're playing at this exact moment?
Yeah, I think Georgia's playing really, really well. I think, since the Bama game, they've made significant improvements on both sides of the ball, but especially on defense. And in the last 3 games, something that was a little bit of an Achilles heel for them is getting off the field on 3rd down. They've been doing that better. And to me, in the first game, Alabama went 9 for 9 in the first half and got ahead by 14 points by going 9 for 9 on 3rd down, which was a huge difference in the game. So I think that's going to be important. At this time of the year, lots of teams are beat up. Who can manage and handle from a depth standpoint as well as a mental toughness standpoint, overcoming adversity at this time of the year, playing in a championship game. This is always a great game, and I'm sure it'll be a great game. Ty Simpson has done a great job, all year long. And, one of the things that I think is important is, Ty has been leaving the home position to change plays. Platform, and the other team is changing the defense. So that doesn't create any advantage for you by checking a play on offense. So hopefully he'll do a little better job of that this week, and that won't be a problem for Alabama's offense.
It sounds like that was a coaching point that you had, certainly for Ty Simpson. I don't know if you let it be heard in the building or if right now you're kind of letting it fly. And
place we release that kind of information.
Ty, need to listen before the SEC championship. Last question for me is just about these championship games as a whole. I mean, we were just in the game day production meeting. Obviously, it came up. Last week, it came up. In the offseason, it came up. Our championship game is going to lose its luster. It's going to lose its luster. Kirby and Kalen aren't telling their teams that the SEC championship hasn't lost its luster, right? Like, that conversation never happens for the actual teams that are involved. It's just kind of the conjecture around it. Is that accurate?
Well, I think there's so much emphasis on the playoffs that, bowl games have become a lot more insignificant, which they used to be really significant. And I think these championship games, because of the, in a way, unfair ramifications that they can have. You got some teams sitting at home not playing in a game that may benefit from a team losing that is playing in a game, which doesn't seem quite exactly right, but it could happen, will happen probably, because we'll probably reshuffle the deck a little bit after these championship games. But I do think that it has lost its luster, but let me just say this about this game. Winning the SEC is a really significant accomplishment. It always was to me. It always was to our team. And I don't think that part of it for these two teams has changed at all.
Yeah, and their fans, right? I mean, that's the...
Oh, absolutely.
Because Roll Tide Willie wants to be able to say that he won the SEC championship.
That's right.
I mean, there's people all around Georgia that say, well, them dogs won the SEC, so I don't want to hear it. That's a big deal.
No, it's a big deal. It's a big deal to walk around the SEC in full strut and say you won the SEC.
You guys do that ever? Do you ever go full strut peacock on them a little bit? Is that just your entire career?
You know, that's not me. That's not who I am.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. AJ, any questions for Coach Saban, AJ?
Yeah, I do, Coach. To pivot quickly, I know Matt Campbell, I guess Pete Thamel is saying that they're in talks. And most likely he's going to be the next Penn State coach.
Final stages.
If they figure all the minutia out. I guess.
Listen to this, though. Hold on, though, AJ. Yeah. Hold on, AJ. I would like to tell Coach Saban this. This is what was reported. They're working towards a deal. There's multiple steps that haven't been finalized yet, like the terms or the compensation or anything like that. Never read anything like this before, but basically just he's going to be the head coach. Sorry, AJ, just so you know where we're at right now. They don't know the money. They have no idea the terms, but they both have kind of said to each other, we're going to do this. Go ahead, AJ. I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, Coach, I'm glad we give Coach the context of it. Like, what would you say as a coach going from a team like Iowa State, obviously, where you win 8, 9, 10 games a year, people are happy, but Penn State, it's like, okay, how quick is he going to win a national championship, or how he needs to get there in the first couple of years? What's it like as a coach, I guess, when you finally take that step to where you're at a place like that to where, hey, we have to win every game?
Well, but I think that, creating that expectation is actually, not favorable to being able to do it, because every time you have a misstep, everybody gets negative on where the program is and what the program can accomplish. And I think the most important thing is to have your administration, your fan base, and everybody stay positive in what you're trying to accomplish and what your goal is. All right, so these places that have, to me, a little bit of unrealistic expectations that we're going to win the national championship. Only one team wins a national championship, and there's a lot of competition out there. There's only 12 teams that get in the playoffs, and really only 10 of them, because 2 of them may not even be ranked high enough to deserve to get in, but in the system they get in.
Okay.
So anyway,
you've stated
so
your
there's
claim.
the top 10 teams that get in the playoffs. And then you got to win in the playoffs against really good teams, and you got to stay healthy, and you got to have a quarterback, and you can't lose the wrong guys at the wrong place at the wrong time. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that go into whether you can finish the season the way you want. So to make that sort of the goal, which is an outcome, we got to win the championship or we're going to get rid of the coach, to me is totally wrong, and they'll have a hard time doing it if that's the approach that they take. Look, Matt Campbell did a great job at Iowa State because he won more there than most. So that tells you what the potential of the place is and what he was able to accomplish. I'm sure he'll be able to do the same thing at Penn State. But how many times has Penn State won the national championship since we had playoffs and since we had BCS games and all that? I mean, refresh my memory on that.
Yeah,
so why is that their standard of excellence?
Well, because they have a lot of money.
Good question.
And they won back in the day. They won back in the day.
So let's go back to that statement about everything's not been decided. It's not just how much compensation the coach is getting, it's how much money they got to pay the players.
Which is what Lane Kiffin actually said in his presser, which I think this would be a good time to bring this up for you, actually, because your name has also been a part of this entire conversation as a mentor for Lane Kiffin, especially alongside Coach Carroll after his dad passed away. OGs in the coaching game have looked out for him, which is a very cool thing. But he said in his press conference, and a lot of people said he was lying, he said, I didn't even know what I was getting paid. I think everybody was going to pay me the same. So I think Lane had a gauge like he was going to get paid a lot of money. He said his big question was, how much money do we have for the players? And what he said was LSU clearly had the better setup for what the future is. That's the reality of current college football.
Absolutely.
Penn State, allegedly, from everything we've been told and what we have seen, they have all of that. And they haven't been able to get a coach signed, and there's been a lot of panic, I think, amongst their people. Having somebody like Matt Campbell, they win this. I think they win the headline here. Don't you think with Matt Campbell, don't you think they can, at least with their donors and everything that kind of matters?
I think absolutely. I think they're getting a great coach who's proven on a consistent basis. He didn't just win one time. He's won consistently at a place that's not a place that people would recognize as some place you should win all the time.
Yeah, they've been horseshit forever,
Coach.
Coach.
Volumes of the job he does.
Oh, that's an Iowa fan. That's Ty from Iowa saying Iowa State is horseshit. But on that,
they were before he got there.
I think that is why people are so impressed by Matt Campbell, is because like his culture is one of success, and it's at a place that I don't think, especially in the modern world, none of us are saying Iowa State's name whenever it comes to NIL conversation. 72-55, which is damn near 57%. Previous 10 seasons, 41-82. Jesus. Okay, before he gets there. So yeah, they were kind of shite, and then Matt Campbell gets there and they're good. And for Penn State, I think we all thought there was a chance they weren't even going to have a coach next year. They already missed signing day, and allegedly the Big Deluxe was keeping people away, which I think the Big Deluxe said, oh, okay, if a car breaks down on the side of the road somewhere, blame me. Why am I always the guy that's getting blamed for everything? Well, it's because he's involved with everything, as are you, okay, in this college football conversation. Have you seen your coaching tree yet? Have you seen the most updated, most recent one?
No.
Somebody put a tweet out that basically has all your coaches and where they're at right now. It's starting at 12, counting down to 1. It's pretty much what it is. Nick Saban's FBS head coaching tree as of November 30th. You got Kirby Smart at Georgia here, Sark at Texas, Lane Kiffin at LSU, Sig at Indiana, Lanning, obviously, Cristobal, Brent Key, Pete Golding, O'Brien, and you name it. Even all the way down to Butch Jones, who I see a gif of him losing his mind all the time. It is truly a beautiful thing. But, like, you're obviously a part of a lot of different conversations and a lot of different storylines and a part of a lot of different people's lives. Lane Kiffin's situation, did you think that was pretty chaotic, even in the scheme of, like, what chaotic situations can be in college football? I don't think I expected it to get as loud and as nasty as it all got at the end. But then after we get through it, I found myself thinking to myself, well, I'm so naive. It was going to get like that regardless. Is that kind of the thought whenever you're talking about, like, hey, people are going to hate you regardless because it's SEC football? Is that a part of the combo with Lane or any of these guys that have to make these massive decisions?
Well, I don't think you can go from one SEC school to another without a whole bunch of people getting pissed off. I mean, that's just a fact of the matter. I mean, because you got these passionate fan bases on both sides of the fence. So, and anybody that is viewed as somebody who sort of promoted one thing or the other is probably going to get criticized too. I have a lot of people calling me, asking me for advice based on, I guess, my experience. And as a human being, I don't care if you're a player, a coach, or an administrator, whoever it is, for the love of the game, I'm always going to try to give them the best information that I can. I never tell them what to do. I always just say, what do you want to do? Where can you do it the best? Can you accomplish your goals the best? Where do you have the best opportunity to be successful? What's best for your family? So I don't make anybody's decisions for them. I just try to offer the best advice that I can relative to them being able to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
But why don't you tell them to go call somebody else and kick rocks? Why don't you stay the hell out of it, Coach Saban? Okay, we don't need you telling Lane Kiffin to go down to Louisiana. Why don't you just hang up on them and not give them any advice at all? There's people that think that.
Well, if I did that, though, I mean, I wouldn't feel good about myself not helping people who were colleagues of mine who helped us be successful and created value in what we were able to accomplish. And, you appreciate that. And you're loyal to those people who were loyal to you, who helped you. So I would have a hard time dealing with that personally. And I think there's a lot of people out there that say, well, what kind of person would be that way that he wouldn't help his colleagues make choices and decisions that are, hopefully going to help them accomplish the goals that they have, which is up to them, not up to fans or anybody else or me.
You say colleagues. Nobody's really your colleague, bro. Okay? We've all worked in your world. You're breathing different air, which is why everybody would like to hear what you think in this entirety. And the fact that you give back and listen to everybody is good quality, not a bad one. And I think that situation was insane with the calendar. Obviously, we can get into it all. Also, how close he was to a national championship with Ole Miss. Don't you think you want to stick it out? What's available at LSU? We'll talk to Lane Kiffin tomorrow. I cannot wait for that. And I'm excited for everybody's, the internet, especially all the Ole Miss fans. They're like, wow, this is just going to be a fourth piece for Lane Kiffin. It's like, okay, I mean, we're certainly going to
ask some hard questions.
Yeah, well, I've heard how it's starting. I think there's some I think there's some real question. There's some real journalism happening tomorrow, from our understanding, from the meeting we just got out of. But also, I think Lane knows some answers on some stuff too, which I think he knows. And then obviously he'll be able to talk about the decision and what he's expecting out of LSU. Which, if you talk to anybody that's been around ball a long time, they're like, LSU, you got a good thing set up over there. You got a good setup down there, which he will certainly hit on and talk about as well. I think more explanation will be good, but also good conversation at the SEC championship.
But this is a based on the calendar and the circumstances in football. It's always difficult when you're a coach, and I've been in this situation before, and I absolutely hated it and couldn't sleep at night over it, where you have an opportunity to go someplace that's maybe better than where you are, maybe not. Maybe you view it as better, maybe not. And you want to be loyal to the team that you have because of what they've done to create the success that has helped you get the opportunity. So you get caught in the rock and a hard place as to how do you make a decision. Because if Lane would have stayed and hired his coach, LSU would have hired somebody else. So he knows he's given up the opportunity if he makes that decision, which is really what he'd love to do because of the loyalty he has to his team. But you can't have both. So, and you're going to get criticized probably either way.
Yeah, not probably, definitely.
Right.
Just because then he was stringing along LSU. Then the LSU people would be mad because he was stringing them along if he didn't pick together. I mean, college football is insane, which is why it's awesome. But it is an insane situation. And the more I learn about it and the more situations I go through, it's like there was no winning, I think, for this one. But I still would like to restate. I was publicly and privately telling Lane that he should stay at Ole Miss, me personally, just because I knew that there was potential a lot of heat coming on the other side of it just by reading the tea leaves of the internet, but also having the opportunity to be I don't want to say a trailblazer, but like somebody that builds a place and builds a town. You obviously know a lot about this, Alabama, not you, but obviously Bear Bryant was there, but from where they were whenever you got there to what it became, it's like that's a cool legacy as well. But granted, the way he talked about it, LSU was a one-of-one job. Can't wait to catch up with him tomorrow. Let's pivot. Go ahead.
One thing about this that I think people probably don't see from maybe the perspective, I think sometimes as a coach, you think of, you said it, you build something, you build a program. All right, so you take over a program that's not so good, whether it's Michigan State, LSU, wherever I basically went, Alabama, and you build it. Well, once you build it and you have success, what's the next challenge? So that was the hard thing for me. I won at Michigan State. I left and went to LSU. I won at LSU. I went to the Miami Dolphins. Then I went back to Alabama. So then when you won at Alabama, when do you get to the place in your life where it's enough? You can just say, okay, every year is like a new job. I'm going to try to sustain this success here, which is much more difficult than building it to start with.
Yeah, chasing is something. Building the mountain is always much more fun than once you get to the top of it.
Once you get to the top, all right, because now the expectation goes up, like what we've talked about before at Penn State. The expectation goes up, and then all of a sudden you become more anxious about being able to sustain that level of success. So sometimes it's easier to just say, I'll just go build something someplace else.
AJ, what did Mac Brown tell us that we've remembered since then, basically what it got whenever he was at Texas?
Right? He was more of a relief than like joy after a win.
Yeah, and losses were completely devastating.
Yeah, a win was relief, because you're supposed to win. And then a loss was just devastation. There was never any happiness. So if you're not able to kind of figure out what it is that makes you happy at a place and keep you going, it's like, I guess we can just consider a lot of you college football coaches, you got gypsy souls, man. Got a lot of gypsy souls as you kind of try to move around. And then also, anytime you see an opportunity and then you're given like what the max could be, if you're a builder and a creator and things, it's like, oh, I could go do that. And then sometimes you're looking right in front of you and it's like, we're really close right here, though. Did we actually complete our goals? That's tough, man. That's a tough thing to do.
Yeah, but to Mac Brown's point, how do you enjoy accomplishing something when the expectation is you were supposed to accomplish it and dominate it before you ever did it? So how does it not become relief just to win a game? And the only joy is when you accomplish the goal of winning the championship or whatever, which is the expectation.
Yeah, and then that's for 20 minutes?
Exactly.
And then what? We got to recruit. We got to do this again next year. And then it's on. That is why you having the dog mentality of always wanting to better and get better at the same place is very rare, which is why everybody's asking for your opinions. But when you give opinions, people aren't going to like to hear that you're maybe sending somebody to LSU. Now, let's talk about college ball a little bit. You know, you're a bad guy. This guy, terrible guy. This guy did nothing for Alabama. This guy did nothing for Alabama. I'm joking. That's what I did see you. You were taking some heat on the internet, which I don't like. Pick to put in as president of the United States if you would ever let us. You are the guy.
But I did not make a decision for anybody.
Yeah, right.
I did not.
Yeah,
I did not. All right. So, so you think I wouldn't have been catching hell on the internet if I'd have said stay at Ole Miss?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there's no
LSU fans are going to get on your ass for saying that?
Me?
Yeah.
No, they like me because I go, hey, oh. You remember the chant?
Oh, yeah. Now you're in the music business, huh? How about that shit?
We are doing. All right, let's move along.
Right.
Let's get back to the college football business. Ty Schmidt has a question for you, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, we talked about this a little bit with you last year, and I understand coaches don't think like this, and neither do players. But with the current model and the way it's set up, do you think any coach is maybe thinking like, hey, that 5 seed is kind of where we want to be? I understand we want to go undefeated. You want to be the number 1 seed. But you look at last year, Oregon, you know, they get the bye, and then they get the doors blown off of them by Ohio State, whereas this year they're sitting at 5, and there's a very good chance that, you know, if they play a Tulane or a North Texas, no disrespect to either one of them, but Oregon's going to be like a 4-touchdown favorite in that game, and it maybe gives them the opportunity to kind of get hot at the right time. So if you're coaching a team, like, do you think the bye is almost a detriment in this current model that we're in, or is that still the end-all, be-all?
No, I think last year the bye was a detriment because most of the teams that had byes didn't perform very well. But I think the real key is, you know, where is your team right now? If your team's playing really well and you got momentum, all right, which you've created by playing well because you earned your own momentum, then do you really want to bye or not? Would you rather keep playing and build on that momentum? If your team's all beat up and you got a bunch of guys hurt up at this time of the year and some time off would be beneficial, then I think having a bye week is probably a good thing. So I think the circumstance determines whether it's a good or bad thing based on where your team is. But I think that a lot of coaches have to really examine how do we get ready for a game when we have all this time off.
A lot of time.
I think, you know, that's one of the things. I mean, you can look at my record. When I was at Michigan State, we went to, 4 bowl games. We got the lining kicked out of our ass in every one of them because I tried to practice from the season to the bowl game. And by the time we got there, the players were so tired of practicing. I mean, psychologically, they just wanted to get it over with. And then I started making it when I went to LSU. This is a 1-game season. So we're not practicing maybe for 2 or 3 weeks. Players just work out, lift weights, have 7-on-7 on their own every now and then. Coaches aren't around them. And then we're going to practice 11, 12 times before the game. And that's it. And then we started winning because everybody was looking forward to it and all that. So how you manage that time off, you know, sometimes less is more. But as coaches, you think the more you practice, the better you're going to get. Sometimes it doesn't work. Not at this time of year.
It's such a crazy philosophy, especially for the GOAT to say. It's like, actually, whenever we were practicing more, we got worse. So we need to stop practicing, almost make them think they have like a little mini off season, right? They're getting and then they'll be excited to get the pads back on and kind of get back into work. That was what you said psychologically you saw from your team?
That's right. And we won when we did that, and we lost when we did it the other way.
Did you ever win here? Did you ever win these games?
I remember the one we lost here in 2008 to Tebow when we had a young team, second year at Alabama, but a bunch of dogs on that team. Pretty damn good. They just all freshmen.
You talk about Mac Brown saying if you win, it's a relief. If you lose, it's devastating. I don't know how many you've won here. I assume 8 or 9 or something like that. And then you go, yeah, I remember the one we lost. Tim Tebow, asshole, that guy. I'll never forget it. Like, that's your first memory, which is why you are who you are. Speaking of you are who you are, you've created billions of dollars in NFL revenue for your player. There's a guy up in Detroit who has changed and transformed the way their team plays. Go ahead, Con Man.
Yeah, Coach, you recruited Jahmyr Gibbs, got him to transfer from Georgia Tech, I believe in the 2022 season. What was it like coaching a player like that? Was he, as electric as some of the other dudes that you've had? I mean, you've had Heisman winners, but Gibbs himself right now is taking over the NFL. He actually just became the quickest or most touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. Yeah, there is before turning 24. He also, I believe, passed Randy Moss for the most touchdowns in the first few seasons of his career as well. That was another stat. But what was it like having Jahmyr Gibbs, and what do we not know about him as a player or the person that you kind of got to experience that season?
I was surprised that when we looked at Jahmyr Gibbs when he was at Georgia Tech, I saw this guy that had this great ability to make you miss, and probably one of the most important facets of being a great running back is to make a cut and get to full speed. How fast can you get to full speed out of a lateral cut? This guy can do it as well as anybody. I know they compare him to Barry Sanders, and he made a lot of guys miss, and I played against him, and he made a lot of our guys miss. But that's what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. He's tough. He's a great person. He's a great receiver. And this guy can just do it all. And he's making people miss. He runs behind his pads, even though he's not a great big guy. But he's hard to tackle, and he's got great acceleration and burst and speed out of a cut, which I think makes him unique in terms of his skill set, what he can do as a complete player in this offense. And you got to give the Lions credit because they use the guy the right way. They get him the ball the right way.
Yeah, they get him the ball a lot. And also they have another running back, Monty, who had a big night. But Jahmyr Gibbs clearly becoming a separator on offense. So fast, so explosive, so dynamic, so cool. So you like the number 0? You like number 0 on him or no?
I'm not big on what number they wear when they can score touchdowns like he does. So it doesn't matter to me. I mean, he could have no number.
That'd be sweet.
Coach, you're the absolute greatest. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for welcoming us here to your SEC championship. It's an honor to be down here.
Well, it is an honor, and there's a lot of memories that go into this place. And one of them was, when I first came to the SEC in 2000, Roy Kramer was the conference commissioner, and he had been a very successful coach at Central Michigan, of all places, in Michigan, in the Mid-American Conference, and even before when they weren't in the Mid-American Conference, and he was very, very successful. But this guy is a legend in terms of being an old-fashioned football guy. I mean, he watched high school games right up until he's 96 years old. He's still watching high school games. He's still going and very involved in the game. And, I always say they don't make them like they used to. I don't think they make very many of them like Roy Kramer.
Well, rest in peace to Roy Kramer. Thank you for your services to football and to life. He was the creator of the BCS. Roy Kramer created the BCS. He was a commissioner for 11 years, obviously ball coach elsewhere, and I believe today he was announced passed away recently.
Yeah,
right?
Today.
Yeah, so rest in peace. Sorry about that. Hey, sorry about that.
Appreciate
honestly.
you, man.
We are very thankful that you join us every single week, and tomorrow should be electrifying as you pick Georgia to beat your Alabama team, right? You're going to call the dogs. You're going to do the whole thing and say, to hell with Alabama, just like I sent Lane Kiffin down to LSU. I was sick of Alabama having success. Is that what you're going to do?
What do they call it when they take toilet paper and throw it all over your trees at your house?
TPing.
TPing, yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you're trying to get?
No, I would never want that. I would never want that. Or eggs like they did to Patullo allegedly up there in New Jersey and Philadelphia for the Eagles. But we appreciate the hell out of you, Coach. Hell of a year out of you. You've crushed it this year. You know that.
Hell yeah,
I have
Coach.
fun. I enjoy it. And being alongside of you brings out the best in me. I got to say that.
I do wonder what's going through your head sometimes. Like the shout up there in Eugene, you getting up and dancing, getting down low. A lot of people say, wow, good knees on Saban. He got down there low for the shout, then he turned it back up. I appreciate you riding in there. You do. You ride in there, and I appreciate that.
But see, I wouldn't do that with anybody else but you.
Miss Terry.
Yeah, Miss Terry.
Yeah, Miss Terry's here, by the way. Happy Thanksgiving, Miss Terry. Happy holidays. She gave us a gift. He's playing an accordion. Accordion on the Christmas card. Looks awesome.
Wait,
he looks like a real musician.
What was that about, Coach? What was that about? What was that eye roll, Coach?
I guarantee you that I did not approve that Christmas card. The first time I saw it was today. There's no way that shit's going public.
I will make sure I get a
Do you
photo
play
of
the
that
accordion?
thing.
You play the accordion?
I will make sure
I did.
Oh, wow.
My grandma Saban made us all learn how to play accordion when we were kids. One of the reasons that I started playing ball when I was 9 years old was to get out of going to accordion lessons.
Okay, so now the fact that you know the accordion, I might need you on the next song. I might need you on. I might need you on another song in this entire thing. Hold on, I think we got it here. Actually, let's go ahead and zoom in on that down there. And yeah, so that is the.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if we can
There
get
it
it
is.
focused
Keep
or
it coming.
not.
Keep it coming. How many dogs do you have?
That's him on the accordion. That's unbelievable work out of you. And look at Miss Terry absolutely crushing it as we should have expected. How many different photos were taken here, and how long does it take to piece together here? What were you playing there?
I had nothing to do with it.
What?
Don't lie. Don't lie, Coach.
What are you talking about? Merry Christmas, jolly old Saint Nick. I thought that was the entire.
Oh, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody, but you don't even see me playing an accordion to enjoy yourself.
I need you on accordion on my next song. I need you on my next song. Is that possible? Let's do that.
Absolutely.
Let's see. What's the sound? That's the sound, right?
That's it.
I need that on the next song. You're the man. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Nick Saban.
Yeah, Coach.
Hey, Coach, I could see him playing the harmonica too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think? The one, maybe he gets the one that has like the
Bob Dylan one. Yeah. Where he can hold the accordion too.
He's playing the accordion, and then everyone's making bop down and play that harmonica.
Have you seen the video of him playing the sax with the Blues Brothers shades and hat on?
Nick Saban?
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
I actually have not.
Is that a real thing, or are you just being toned right
I thought I saw that somewhere.
Are you thinking of when Bill Clinton went on Arsenio Hall?
He played the saxophone like in 1993.
Maybe I am.
I think you are.
Maybe I am.
You want this, you got that. No way, watch 'em walk